It's time for Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook, the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets, whether it's in Lincoln or in Omaha at the casinos. Make sure you get on over to Warhorse Casino to check out their sportsbook, or get to warhorsecasino.com for all their promotions and details. DB,
what is going on?
We're a little light on football this weekend.
Light.
A little bit light, although we do have my two favorite service academies, Army and Navy.
Are you a big Army Navy guy?
Yes. It's funny because I'm more a fan of them individually than I am this particular game. Like, I like watching them in the regular season. I like watching them succeed. But I do enjoy this game.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit, I know why they do it. I think it's a little bit of a bummer, especially now that both of them are good, that it doesn't happen early enough for it to matter in terms of the regular season. But I'm excited for this one. It's the only quote unquote regular season game this weekend. Army is a 6.5 point favorite over Navy.
I just think that's too many.
I also think it's too many. And I like Army.
That's big for a reason, though. But
I'm a big, you know me, I'm a big Jeff Monken guy. Been very upset.
Hey.
Been very upset that he hasn't gotten the national attention he deserves for some of these jobs.
So more
Same
or
with
less,
Jamie Chadwell.
more or less upset than the national awards last night.
Ooh, more. Definitely
I
more.
think Mike is still mad
About Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dumb. He probably shouldn't have won either of them, to be honest. Of the position ones. Here's the funny thing about Travis Hunter, right? Because of the nature of his game, you could make an argument more for the most outstanding player or a Heisman than I think you can for either of the position awards that he won. Is that fair?
That is absolutely fair.
Because he's pretty good at both. Don't know if he's great.
He's not the best at either.
Right. I mean, like, and to be fair, that the finalist field was kind of strange for the Blitnikoff, especially. I kind of look at that and I go, would I have picked any of those three guys as the best receivers in the country?
You wouldn't have.
No. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't really know, because it was him, it was McMillan from Arizona, and those guy from San Jose State, right? Yeah. And McMillan from Arizona, I probably would have put in there.
Legit.
Right? Super legit. Probably should have won out of that group. But because the Blitnikoff doesn't have that's not one of them with the age restrictions on it, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm going, okay, you got a couple true freshmen out here that are probably the two best receivers in the country.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
I almost said statistically.
Sarcastically?
It's not funny, Cam. This dude's laughing so I can hear him through the glass.
My favorite thing
statistically
is when whoever the producer is with us, whether it's Shane back at the restaurant or Cam here, when they laugh and it's like muffled, you get like, oh, you think that was funny? You get so mad about it.
Yeah, Cam. See my frowny face? Stop laughing at me.
But yeah, statistically, which is what I think you were trying to say.
Statistically.
Whatever. Those were like, you probably, like, those aren't the guys.
I understand.
I'm just sitting there. I go, how do we land on these three? And I sort of get how Travis Hunter gets lumped in there because he gets all the headlines or whatever, but there were better wide receivers than that.
So while we're on this thing for a second, I get the not having two Colorado guys for the Heisman.
Yeah.
But Dillon Gabriel isn't even statistically the best quarterback in the country.
No.
There's Shedeur and there's Ward.
Yeah, which Ward got the nod, which I understand. And that's a fair inclusion, I think. Miami is not anywhere near the college football playoff conversation without Cam Ward. But I don't know how. I guess best player, best team, Dillon Gabriel is how he got in. Is that what we're doing? It's kind of the Mark Ingram deal.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, should he have been Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year? I get he was the favorite going in.
And he was also favorite for the Heisman going in. That doesn't mean he deserves it. I probably not.
It doesn't seem like
I don't think of this year in the Big Ten.
Who was the only guy you guys commented on every time he made a play in the Oregon Penn State game Saturday?
Oh, Tez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's silly.
Yeah, it kind of gave me, I've made this analogy before. It kind of gave me the same vibes of, not to the same degree, but when Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans were down at A&M, everybody's like, oh, Johnny Manziel. I'm like, Mike Evans is pretty good. A lot of those
Well, what
balls
you
are
asked
just-
me off air a couple weeks ago, you go,
Yeah.
you ever go back and watch old A&M stuff like Johnny Manziel? And I was like, yeah, I mean,
Sometimes, every once in a while.
man, are we sure Mike Evans wasn't the best guy on that team?
Because I'm not sure.
That's what you asked me.
And that's how I kind of feel about Tez and Dillon Gabriel. I think it's kind of the same dynamic, not to the same degree. Dillon Gabriel's, I don't know if he's better than Johnny Manziel, but I trust him a little bit more. But I'll just go back to some of those highlights, and you get this a lot with elite college quarterbacks that don't have that aren't well regarded for the NFL. Is you look at it and you go, oh, their wide receivers make a lot of plays.
Yeah, Tez is like 160 pounds, though.
I know. I kind of love him.
Is he 5'8"?
The same way that I'm 5'11".
So no. All right. Just checking.
That's why I had him list me at on the roster. It was not accurate.
Mm.
So I was like, I think I can get away with 5'11". Nobody's going to believe I'm 6 foot. If you're under 6 foot, they kind of ignore the second number. They're just like, he's short. Got it.
Yeah, I don't know. Who do you think it's a foregone conclusion?
I think it should be Jeanty. I really do. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be.
You don't want to bet on it?
I probably wouldn't put money on it because I think I'd lose it. But for my money, Jeanty was the best player in the country this year.
I'm right now looking up the current Heisman odds.
Yeah. I would imagine Travis Hunter's a prohibitive favorite.
I remember before I was affiliated with the university, I get to vote. I used to vote on this thing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a Heisman voter.
Yes. But I can no longer do that.
Do you remember what was like your last year? Do you remember?
It would have been 2022.
Okay. How long were you for a while?
5 years.
Okay. I'm trying to think of who the guys were in there. See if you made any egregious decisions.
I can't even remember. But I can't. Really? That's okay.
What? I just trying to think if you would have, because you like to get a little.
Oh wow, they're not even close.
What is it?
These can't be current.
The current odds for Heisman?
Travis Hunter is the only minus.
That's what I'm telling you. I bet he's a prohibitive favorite. I bet that's right.
Listen, I'm not surprised
I bet that's
that
right.
he's the favorite. I'm surprised that we just have rested in the fact that he's the best player in the country.
I don't think he is. I think he's the most interesting story in the country.
But he is the most talented. I'm not gonna.
No, I'm not hating on him. I just like I said, I think he has a more deserving shot at the Heisman than he did at the Biletnikoff or the Thorpe. There are better guys individually at those spots, but he does both, so that matters. I get that. But I've got it at minus 2,000. That's nuts.
That can't be. That's what I saw. That can't be right.
I bet it is. I think he's the prohibitive favorite. I would give it to Jeanty. I think Ashton Jeanty is the best player in the country this year. What's Boise State without that dude?
No, I know.
Nothing. They have a bye in the college football playoff, DB.
As a 3, not the 4.
Yeah, they're not even the last bye. They're ahead of the Big 12 because of that dude. I get it's a good football team overall, but they're not in this conversation.
Would you change your 4 from my 4?
Which 4?
So Oregon, Georgia,
Notre Dam, the teams you trust.
Penn State.
I wouldn't put Penn State in there because I don't think they're talented enough to matter. And I'm taking Georgia out because of the quarterback situation.
So you don't like. So 2 of my 4 you'd swap out.
But for
4,
not for the reason you gave me.
No, you get to take 4 of the 12. But that is why I'm taking those 4 teams,
right,
as one of the champions.
I agree with your premise on why you like those teams, but I think there's a couple extenuating circumstances that eliminate Georgia and Penn State. I would go.
Is Oregon in your deal?
Oregon, Notre Dame. Notre Dame's my favorite. I think Notre Dame's going to win. That's my. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think Notre Dame's going to win. I put Texas in there. I don't know that I have a 4th that I feel good about.
Wow, you put Texas in there because they can beat anybody but Georgia?
Yeah, and Georgia, and they can beat. I bet they can beat Georgia without a full game of Carson Beck. That's what I'm betting on. Is that Texas healthy can beat a Carson Beckless Georgia if they have to. I don't know. I think Notre Dame is the best version of talent and cohesiveness. Maybe Oregon.
Not sure I would debate that.
But I like Notre Dame is the team that I like to win the national
If
title.
not, it's probably Oregon.
Yeah, it's one of those two.
You want another tight-knit team that I think's getting way too many points is Clemson.
Plus 11?
Yeah. Seems like a lot.
Yeah, I have a hard time because if I'm riding with Texas, I have a hard time being like, well, Clemson still it probably should be closer than 11, but I got to ride with Texas there.
You just know that you saw the second half against SMU.
Yeah, and I've seen, the ACC all season. So that's Bet on It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook.